I'm sorry about that. Haven't spoken to anybody all day. Uh, I'm so coffee. How are you? I hope all is well with all of you. It is Wednesday. It is Hump Day. Have a beer. You're halfway there. Smoke the beer if you've got the beer. You know what I mean. Ouch! Got an itch in my rear quarter panel. How is everybody? I'm gonna step away for a second because I've got tea churning. It's amazing. I was playing uh, around and I looked up and it was 6:30 and it was like so update. I guess I'll give an update when there's someone. Ooh, I guess I'll give an update when there's someone here in the chat. Uh, so the Will Smith, huh. So the Will Smith thing is still percolating. It's only a couple of days, right? It happened the day before yesterday, right? So I'm telling you, somewhere around the weekend on Monday, they're gonna do this thing. Uh, so yeah, I was doing guitar stuff. Guitar stuff. Oh, good lord. I hate books on small books that aren't supposed to be on those books. Like these. So give me a second while I OCD out for a second so I can put things where they should be. This is the one with the all right, we'll do that. All right, so more stuff. So, we're slowly getting better. We're gonna slowly reverb the show. We've got no topics. Hey, William in the chat. Good to see you, man. I excuse me. Not speaking gets you this. Trying to keep all the music stuff in a central location. But it's hard to keep it all in a central location when everything is a central location. All right, so it's your comfy zone. Let's get a pen. Let's hit some of the bullet points of some of the stories we're going to talk about today. Generally, three will wander us through about 90 minutes because that's how we get down. Do we want to raise this chair up? I think we might want to do. All right. Every day. Excuse me. Every day gets closer to this wedding. It's making me crazy. I think the tea is ready. All right, give me a second. Like 20 seconds, guys. All right. So now we just let that steep or steam or stew or brew or whatever tea does for about 5 or 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes. It'll be cool then. For about it's 111. Let's go 109, right? And then we'll go get it. Uh, yeah, it was a guy, a Falwell Republican operative. I'm surprised you found it. That's amazing that you found it. Because you tell people this stuff in bars when you're drinking and you recall these stories, and people will go, "That didn't happen." You're like, "Yeah, he killed himself that way," and they're like, two wetsuits and all that, and a viper in his butt. That just sounds like you're trying too hard to make a story interesting, right? Like we were walking from the plane under fire, and people go, "Are you sure you were Hillary?" You know, really, really. But then you forget that there's cameras everywhere, and there have been cameras everywhere since I would say the first million people, private citizens, bought phones all those years ago, and slowly started popping up on screen. And here's the thing: the place where cameras are the most ubiquitous is China. Not because they have a lot of people, but also because they're not an honest society, right? I mean, they know that someone will accuse you of hating the government and the government will cart your ass away, right? So everybody has surveillance devices. They have it in their car when they're driving around, right? They have cameras in their houses and on the driveways, just to protect themselves and also like not to be blamed for shit, right? It's a paranoid society. I'm watching you. You're watching me. I'm watching you. That kind of weird, kind of like energy. Um, we're becoming that, but I think for different reasons. We're becoming that just because we're showy and look. There's always more than one reason for something. I tell people, everybody doesn't believe in X for the same reason, right? Everybody doesn't love Y for the same reason or hate Z for the same reason, right? There's always there's always. I was listening to Thomas Hayden Church today talking about Will Smith. He's the actor who was in one of my all-time favorite comedies, Wings. He was what was his character's name? Um, the weird mechanic, not Lyle. Anyway, uh, he was saying how it's outrageous and Will Smith should be banned from the Oscars, right? Meaning you can't go to the Oscars, but he was like, can't get another Oscar, right? But I don't think you should take his Oscar away. I'm kind of like, it's kind of like, man, he shot the joint. I think you should press charges and charge him for every bullet, but I don't think you should take his gun away. It's like some of the logic of how people were like literally. I don't really love when this stuff happens, but you get to see how people's thought processes and see whose train doesn't pull completely into the station and whose elevator doesn't go completely to the top floor. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So meanwhile, I may be the craziest of the lot because I'm over out here nightly, generally almost nightly, talking about the issues of the day and telling you what I think about it. And I could just be as batty as a fucking fruitcake, man. Right? But I tell you why I think that. And you can sit here for a week or two or a month or two if you're crazy and go, yeah, that guy's been like there's a thread to his mania, right? If I'm crazy, or there's a route to his genius if I'm above the curve or whatever. These people only ever say what their publishers, their not publishers, their publicists and their agents and their managers and their lawyers have them say in public, right? This is why they don't get any off the cuff questions because then you'd end up like that girl at the beauty pageant who was like, "I'm for what you call it, regular marriage or whatever." Right? But mind you, she was a teenager. She was like Miss Teen, but like you get people off the cuff saying stuff that their mom or dad told them, or they talk about with their friends, and not all that shit is generally good to be re-aired, right? Like I give an example. Uh, Suck my dick is a pejorative in the black community, right? Some people that cursing they don't say that. Like here's an example. I was talking to a streamer about the word cunt, right? The c word, and I was like, yeah, well, she's British. And I was like, yeah, that not British. She's Scottish, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't track here. So you could say that in a bar there and get loads of laughs and call your girlfriends that, right? But you come here and do it, and it's a very different vibe because the atmosphere for that is viewed differently, right? It's not just that we're not used to it. We take a dim view of it. Um, it's like pedophile jokes. Pedophile jokes are big in England. A lot of their comedians do them, right? Uh, but we don't do that here. So you can see some people's Netflix specials and see why they failed. Because I love stand up, and I watched one with Jimmy Carr, and I'm just kind of like, oh no, click, right? Moved on to something else. Um, Very in the wheelhouse of my society, right? I think he's their most popular comedian trying to break into America, right? So he's obviously popular there. they're one of their more popular comedians, right? Because first you get super popular there, and then they try to export you to America, unless you take a circuitous route, right? But generally, you know, you're either on their TV or in their movies and or on their charts, and then people go, oh, the Beatles, or oh, the Rolling Stones, or ooh, any number of actors, right? Um, or they very rarely that they pluck you out of obscurity in England to be a giant star in American film. It happened with Harry Potter. It happened with the black guy from the Star Wars movie and the white girl from the Star Wars movies, right? It happens, but it's not so regular that you know what I mean. Um, and with different cultures, and when people come here, they stay in a stream, and they get used to. The longer they're here, the more they get used to how the American society works, and they navigate it until some wild shit happens, and then people are like, you know, they're part of how they view the world because they haven't grown up here. They can't see all the world the way we see it. But they make a lot of money here, and they don't want to rock the boat. But sometimes you know they tell you uh, how they view it from the world they view it in, the world they grew up in, rather. Yeah. So let's check the chat. Hey, Carrie, good to see you. That is a really good question. People still watch the Oscars. I mean, but I got to tell you, here's your problem with this whole Will Smith thing. Um, oh, was he asked to leave the Oscars but refused? Wait, hold on. Then where is your security at? Here's your problem. And I get it. As a former cop, you choose your moments. You could have brought 16 guys out there and fucked Will Smith up on national television, right? And then it would have been like, well, what Will Smith wasn't right, but the way the cops reacted or the security reacted was right. So you'll make it worse. You know there's a trillion cameras out there. You have evidence of what was done, and you can absolutely address this shit later, right? Just like Will Smith could have absolutely addressed that joke later and said, "Oh, behind the stage, Will Smith hit Chris Rock," blah, 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 right? But now then you got to leave, and he's like, "No." But here's the thing: authority wins out. It doesn't have to win out in the moment, right? But it has to win out because it's authority. You can't just murder somebody and hide out in another state for X amount of time and then go get another job and get married and act like nothing happens, right? Authority wins out. You may win that first car chase getting away, right? Or whatever, but when the government goes, hey, you know, in order to stem the fucking tide of everybody doing the same thing. Um, yeah, so I get why they didn't jump on him at the moment, but when it went to and you had all these other soft ass movie stars there, right? All millionaires who don't really do anything for themselves. They're all being handled by their handlers. So you don't want to upset them and send them into a tizzy, a Twitter tizzy from 700 people worth $100 million a piece, telling you how they were afraid for their lives, even though they were sitting 3 rows back, but like 60 feet over, right? They were still in the platinum section of the money pit with the actors and the stars and the right. So you don't want that. But as soon as you go to commercial, um, he doesn't want to leave his seat. Okay, you go along with the show. Behind the scenes, you don't do the give the award of whatever that he's in because you know who won. You know who won, right? So if he didn't win, you can go walk up to the people, what's the Price Schuster, Bob and Jones accounting firm, right, or whatever it is, and you can go, look, we just had a hyper rare incident of this, right? Not the director, but like whoever's in charge. Because I'm assuming if I'm only running a network, and this is one of my big things, I'm watching it, even if I'm watching it in my boxes with my dick out, excuse my language, I'm watching it. Because you're paying me likely $300 million a year, or whatever they're making. They're probably making $100 million a year to run the giant network. As soon as that happens, I'm like, do, do, do. And someone in the office going, it's the chairman of the company. He's on the phone. He wants to talk to you, right, Mr. CEO. Yeah, yeah, but because they call each other by that first name. Hey, hey, how you doing, Dick? Oh, no, yeah, yeah, no. I saw it too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll see you on the golf course. I'll handle it. Yeah, 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 yeah. Click. Then he gets on his phone, and then someone down there to see some vice president of what the fuck ever. Hello. Yeah, 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 yes, Jim. I absolutely saw it. I'm handling it right now. Yes, we're gonna get Price Waterhouse, and we're gonna see who won as the president, the CEO of the company. And if he wins, because there's only a handful of us to know, uh, we won't award it on air. If he didn't win, since they know, we'll carry on since he won't be on stage, and then we'll deal with the bar. Perfect, Jim. No problem. Thank you, Jim. I'll see you on the golf course. Say hi to the wife and family. Bam. Then you get on the phone and you call the director and producer of the show with Price Waterhouse, and you let them know this is what we're fucking gonna do about it. We made a command decision. That's it. And they're on the other phone going, yes, Mr. Exec, don't you fucking call me by my first name. Yeah, yeah, yes, Mr. Oh, absolutely. Producer, director, blah blah blah. Super Giant big to us, right? But they are the low people on that totem pole when this shit happens. Because they won't ever work in the industry again either. So when they get a call from the chairman who called the CEO, who just called the president of broadcasting, who just called the vice president overlooking this shit, who just told you, don't award him that thing on TV. That says someone's paying attention, someone's in charge of the house. That's what that says. Him sitting there through the course of the whole show says not that nobody's in charge, but that when you need to make a decision, the first thing everybody thinks about is themselves. It's not my job. Whose job is it? I'm making a ton of money here. I don't want to upset my Apple card. I'm waiting for someone to take, right? And that's what it is. See, in the military, when someone takes initiative, they go, he did a fucking hell of a job. You're promoted. Here's a giant ribbon. And then they go, everybody in the future, do it like that guy, right? But also, if you're doing it and you fuck up, you get demoted, right? So, from what my military friends tell me, sometimes it's better not to be noticed, which is a thing in the military. But sometimes people are looking to make a name for themselves, right? In all area of things, and they stand out. So maybe they didn't have a standout executive producer, vice president of whatever the fuck to handle it that way. But I totally get why they didn't drag him out under security. But yeah, he should have, at the very minimum, he should have been interviewed by the cops at that place versus them going, hey, no one called us to say the ducky. You know, hey, you're the head of the police organization in the city or the state, right? As like I said yesterday, as far as I see this, he may have issues with like 5 agencies, right? The FCC, federal agency, for transmitting across the airways, violence or whatever they can come up with, affecting children, just like the whole uh, Janet Jackson Tittygate thing, right? Um, his union, right? This is a work event. He's in the union and he's at this work, right? So he's got maybe they can if he can't work, they can strike him, right? And he can't work. Uh, he's got issues with, as far as I see it, the local municipality for assault, and people are going, well, it's just a minor assault. It's not like It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The cops aren't in the business of going, that's a minor one. We're not gonna, still has to be addressed, and maybe right. Some things the cop have discretion. Look, it says keep off the grass. Don't. I'm not gonna give you a ticket. I'm not gonna arrest you, but man, stay off the fucking grass. And then you come back an hour later and they're still on the grass having a picnic now, throwing rappers. You're like, hey, giant. It says the Memorial Park, man. Giant sign. Get all this stuff and get out of here. I'm gonna be right. You come back 10 minutes later and they're still there. Then you can arrest them for any number of things, right? Um, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I get why you don't want to roll down there with like 19 cars, because first thing people are going to go is there's bigger things going on. LAPD officers down here investigating Will Smith for right? So you can see all of the angles of what's going to happen. But this is different. It happened big. Everybody saw it. It was on the world stage. Someone should have went down there. Uh, you should you should interview Chris Rock because it's not about him tweeting. I don't want to. You go and talk to the victim of an incident like this, right? And then you go and talk to Will Smith, victim of it, and then you decide, right? And if the cops don't want to do it, the local district attorney municipality can launch charges themselves, right? And that municipality is so far what you got the local municipality, right? The state can get involved if they so choose to. Um, and the feds have control of the airways. So yeah, like we said, the day after, like I think he was arrogant and flippant, and the next day it looked like it didn't go the way he thought it was gonna go, and he just tried to bury it with a bullshit apology. And it's time for healing, everybody. Easy for you to say, bitch, you didn't get hit. Healing. Shut up. Now you got healing, right? Didn't you set this off by saying something squirrely to the dude to have him walk up there, big as he is, hit that little man? This is not up to Chris Rock to press charges. The state can press charges for Chris Rock, and I think they should. Right? We're still talking about it. I don't follow celebrity shit, and you got me out here talking about it. Not you got me, but they've got me out here talking about it. I heard the tickets went from $45 to 350. So he's gonna talk about it, he's gonna crack some jokes about it. My look, man, I feel for Chris. I'm not a Chris Rock fan, right? Nah, I can take a leave, Chris Rock. Now I'm a Chris Rock fan. He handled that exactly like he should have handled it. And like I said, you see all these people who, what did Tiffany Haddish say? Ooh, girl, you should suck his dick. Like, like this is not the culture. I don't know. Like, there's stupid people in the culture who get rich and famous, and that remark is one of them, right? And just because you say I hit him because of this thing doesn't mean. First of all, you just because he said words doesn't mean you can hit him. But just because that's your narrative of why things happen that way doesn't mean that's the way it happened. And especially when everybody saw it, right? It's not two guys going to a bathroom. One guy walks out with a black eye, and the other guy walks out with a bloody nose, and they both go, "He hit me," right? This is everybody's seen it, and now you're like, "Well, jokes about my look, man." I have been part of people playing the dozens, and people get roasted. And when you get roasted, there's like 10, 15 jokes coming at you, like your mama jokes. Your mama got a kickstand with one leg, and the bitch stand like this, right? All those your mama jokes. Uh, like the mommy jokes. Mommy, I don't like my brother. Shut up and eat your stew. Right? All these kind of like stupid, goofy jokes. Right? They started with your mama jokes. And your mama so this, your mama that, like your shoes. So, but I've seen people get into fights over that, and then people all had the same reaction. Man, they were jokes, and you took it all serious. Then why you out here with us? If you're gonna be, you know what I mean? Why are you at the comedy event in show business for 30 years where you see comedy, joke, and now all of a sudden you make this move? There's something going on in the head of Will Smith. We're actually, I guess, the Will Smith conversation is a bonus. Um, oh, good lord, I dropped my pen. That cannot be allowed. Uh, I don't think I'm wrong. And like we said, Will Smith, and like we said yesterday, give it a few days, and that will tell you how bad this is for him. If he shows up giving interview on like Dateline, one of these evening shows, 10 p.m., CBS, whatever the one is on NBC, or shows up with Oprah on some Oprah's own the network or whatever the fuck, talking about my history and this out of my character and I love the people and you know that the people around him said we got to do damage control. You got to get on TV. But if this can all go away, and they go, don't worry about it. We're not going to file any charges. And the people in the interview was like, we're going to fine you or ban you from Oscars for 2 years. Like he's gonna, whatever, and it's going to be okay. Keep your head down for 2 years, and I'm back in it. And then when they show up and go, hey, you want to talk about what happened? He's going to be, oh no, 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 I feel bad about it. I just want to let it go, right? So you know who need to, like we said yesterday, you know who need to do that recently? R. Kelly, and it didn't work out for him, and Alec Baldwin, and we'll see how it works out for him. So if if Will Smith shows up in the next 10 days, I was thinking this week, but in the next like 10 days, 2 weeks, like 10 days, 2 weeks, 4 days more, about 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks, in one of these sit down interviews, then you know how bad it is for him. All right, today is the 30th of the month. We're trying to slide into April like warm spring rain. Yeah, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. Uh, and then we're just gonna like amp it up. But this week, man, whew, the wedding is this week. I have to look my best and be the best family member and not be the one who everyone is talking about at this wedding. And I think I can pull that one off this time. I failed at it several times before, but that was young me. Young me was wild and spirited. This is the more elder, refined me. I'm seasoned and well aged, so I'm pretty sure this time I am not going to be talking about politics. Sure of it. All right. Well, we'll see. Gonna see how that goes. Let's let's see what else we have here in the news. Russia's bombing Ukrainian cities. Yeah. Look, listen. You want to talk about this January? So let's talk January 6th for a minute. All right. So you know where I stand on the politics of January 6th, right? But you know, I've said this before about how they begin to put things in front of your eyeballs for the election cycle. So they have been steadily talking about charges for Trump. They've been steadily talking before Trump was elected about P tapes and Russian prostitutes and all this shit, right? Steadily talking about this, that there's a steady innuendo of crime and criminality in Russians, right? They're gonna keep that on the back burner, just keep it simmering, just keep stirring it. We don't want that to burn. Just keep stirring it. If it bubbles over, everybody will look at it and go, "You're still talking about Trump, right?" But this way, you just hint at it. It's always in the paper. There's a couple of stories. Just keep it churning. Just try to flip the page. Just keep it. Turn the volume down. Put it in the background and simmer. On the front burner, you're churning all that. Oh, look, lynching is not a federal fucking crime. Look what we did for you blacks, because we need to shore you guys up for this election thing. Meanwhile, don't ignore that thing on the back burner. Trump, Trump, Trump. Simmer, simmer. Just keep it stirring. Just keep it. Just keep it stirring. Keep it stirring. We'll add something to that later. You don't need to season it too heavy now because we're going to season it to taste at the table. So you leave that on low on the back. You leave the top semi can canted. Um, I could really go for a cigarette right now. Oh, this is all I got. You first world problems. So you leave the top canted so some steam can get out. It's not burning so hard. You don't leave your wooden spooning. I guess you could. It's wooden. It's not gonna burn. It's wooden. It's not gonna burn. I would take your wooden spoon out of the fucking pot. Put it on the counter. So, but in the front, meanwhile, you're churning that uh, Black holiday that you came up with, that Juneteenth. You're churning the lynching law that's 200 fucking years late and no one cares about. You're churning the first black woman, vice president. Oh, you're what this is the try as you try and steal voters from the other party. You are bleeding voters from your own party because you are full of shit. So you've got this in with affluent black women who then run back and tell the poor black women, "Oh, look at me! You can't let no man tell you." And this is what you do, right? So now there's this kind of like wedge in the black community between genders about politics, about our interactions here. Like this is what we in the movement talk about. What's going on in the environment. This is why this thing with Will Smith and Chris Rock is a thing, right? Two super rich black men acting like it's the streets, right? But it's not really two of them. It's really one of them. Um, and the streets have nothing to do with it because they've both been super rich for like 30 years. So Chris Rock still lives in Brooklyn. He's got a house in Brooklyn, just like Spike Lee has a house in Brooklyn. But Will Smith doesn't live in Philadelphia. Doesn't go to Philadelphia unless he's filming something. He lives in a giant museum to himself, right, with Oscars and Emmys and gold records and all this stuff, right? So he goes from his giant limo through the streets where we walk through to a sealed off building where there's nothing but handlers and people giving them food and stuff and ask them snowball questions, and that's been his life forever. Uh, at least you see Chris at the bodega, right? Not often, but you do. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, it's the environment is ridiculous. Why do we supposed to be talking about January 6th? So the January 6th thing is this: they keep talking about Trump, right? Uh, they're gonna be hard to, what the cycle was. I was talking about Trump. I mentioned the black vote slid back into black people, and that's what happened. Anyway, the Democratic Party needs to shore up their number one voting block, and they're bleeding people because you know people think that the party doesn't do anything, doesn't do enough. Will come and lift heaven, right? Lift, move uh, mountains, right? Through heaven and hell for other groups who do less to keep you in power. Uh, yeah, and like I said, I'm not the only black guy talking like this on the interwebs, right? And we're all not stupid, right? We're all not black uh, revolutionaries or socialists or whatever you call us, right? Some of us are cops and preachers, and some of us are just people who know. Some people are lawyers talking about this stuff, right? Some are ex broadcasters. So obviously, people in the community see what's going on. And I think that the civil rights movement is dead. I said that on this show. But there's a lot of people talking about it, so maybe those are the embers, and those guys will light a fire to look at. I gotta go get my tea to look at what is wrong and what is not. Ooh man, that I'm not gonna have to nuke it. All right, guys, give me 30 seconds. I gotta go get this tea. All right, so I had to take the tea bags out, throw it in the microwave for that's gonna churn in 2 minutes, and I'm gonna run back and then I'm gonna have this tea. So, um, they want to keep the Trump thing in your ear, on your mind, at the back of your head. Look, my thing is not so much. I talk about Trump, but I'm not. Don't look at me so much defending Trump as you need to look at me telling you these are the games that they play while they do nothing. If it wasn't Trump, it'd be somebody else. Remember, Hillary Clinton tried to play these games with Obama, right? When she released that picture, tried to infer Muslim radical, right? Like the government is gonna let a secret Muslim become president, right? Just like all these people talking about Russian Donald Trump's Russian spy. I'm like, you think the CIA and the NSA and all these 16 spy agencies gonna don't know this, or they're gonna know this and let him be seated anyway? His plane would have lost a fucking rim and fell out of the sky a long time ago. Watch the incompetent people try and give you again an enemy to hate, so they can tell. Man, look, they're always doing this. I will save you. That is the bad guy. Oh, look, there's the bad guy. I will save you. Oh, look, I have great ideas, but those people won't let me give it to you. It's always some, you know what I mean? They're the problem. They're incompetent and they're greedy and they sit in charge and they do nothing. Now, having said that, should Trump run again? Yeah, he should run again. He won the first time with sketchy shit. Now, it's my opinion, should he win again? Look, I gotta tell you, that first campaign, watching him cut through these people in the debates was a thing to behold. It was amazing. I watched it like 5 times since the election. Some of these, because he was just, and that's what they don't like about him, right? So you have to ban his. But I think it was catching lightning in a bottle. I don't think he could do it again. I don't think he could do it again. And then he surrounded himself with a whole bunch of racists and asshats who would give him the second shot. But the people opposing him are just as bad. They were worse before. That's why they lost. So I keep going, and so I'm sitting here like, oh my god, like, could he win again? Could he Grover Cleveland this bitch? Oh my god! Not well, Grover Cleveland. Howard Taft did it twice, right? In separate elections, he was the first to do that. Oh my god! Oh really? That no. I think their comfort is on the line. I'm one of those people who think that January 6th was a long time in coming, right? And I think we're in this chain. Let's say we're at link 8, right? And let's say for all we know, there's my T. For all we know, this chain link has 100 links in it, or it could have 30, or it could have 10, or that could be the last link, right? So they're acting like January 6th was the last link of all this. We're gonna look into it and it's done. But I'm thinking, what if down the line, 50 years from now, they go, just like people say now, the Civil War started with Harper's Ferry, right? And John Brown. What if this is the John Brown moment, January 6th, right? Everybody think, oh, that John Brown's crazy. Oh, but they didn't expect a civil war. And now in hindsight, we go, so what if that's what's going on here? I'll be right back. Give me 40 seconds. Someone count. All right. I'm sure that was more than 40 seconds. It was probably a minute and what do you want to go? 15? How long was that, somebody? Ugh. Come on, guys. This is not TV. This is an interactive show. I would hope that you would help me out with the timing. Ooh, this is going to be good and hot. Sweet Jesus. Our democracy is on the line. That woman is freaking. She's another. Her father was a freaking congressman, senator. Sat there for 50 years. They're American royalty, and that's the problem. We should not have royalty. Everybody raising their daughters to be little princesses. That is antithetical to what the whole place is supposed to fucking be about. There's a group of people who are really trying to make this place Europe. Really are. Um, so yeah, they're talking about Trump, 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 jail, jail, jail. I said and maintain that it will not happen. We are not throwing an American president in prison. Not gonna do it. Not ever gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Above the law. Yeah. Yeah. I know nobody likes to say that, but some people are. Because we give them the authority to be. Nobody look. Otherwise you'd be charging presidents for murdering people. Right? If you go, all right, I authorize you to take that F-16, $150 million, billion, $1 trillion, whatever, to drop a giant missile on this town. You know you're going to be killing not just soldiers, but some women and children up in this bitch. We don't call you a murderer. But the people at the bottom always need to be throwing stones and telling you who to hate. And it's bled all in through all these organizations. It's bled out through all these places in this society, right? Versus talking about actual issues. And good lord, look at the fucking size of that. Oh my god. There's okay. There's a there's a mosquito outside my window. It's got to be that big. Uh it's as big as the silver dollar. Yeah. Uh, that's one thing I do not like about living in the South. The ginormous mosquitoes. And they're not that big. If you go further south, they get bigger. Um, it's like down here there are no pigeons because all the birds down here are big enough to eat pigeons. So there are no pigeons in Virginia. Isn't that amazing? Right? Hawks will. So yeah, they they're rock pigeons because they like high and these are low plains over here still, but still. Um, Everything eats everything else. The Academy begins disciplinary proceeding against Will Smith. Says he refused to leave the ceremony. So, if the knives are out, that's it for Will Smith. But what is he going to do? He's going to keep his $700 million and go be discredited. He's not going to be sent to prison and not going to be robbed of all of it like Weinstein, right? His wife took half. She was like, ooh, before they come for the rest of it, I'm taking half and I'm gone, right? I'm pretty sure he's still rich because the way rich hide money, they make sure that once they're rich, they're never poor again. So this is how you get people living in mansions who are dead fucking broke. You're just kind of like, what? What happened? Um, he refused to leave. Should we even read this story? Are we going to go in on the Will Smith story? Everybody's going in on the Will Smith story. Ooh. That, my dear man, is some hot tea. All right, so let's do this. Democracy is at risk. She's ridiculous. Um, Never had COVID. You may hold the key to beating the virus. Don't wish evil shit on me, right? I haven't had COVID yet. I saw something a couple of days ago that said, if you don't, if you haven't gotten COVID yet, you probably don't have friends. And I was just like, really, motherfucker? Really? I gotta take a picture of this thing. It is ginormous. Hold on. Oh my goodness gracious. Can I get it without? Yeah, I can. There it is. Did I get it? Did I get it? I think I did. It's a little blurry. Hold on, I always gotta turn the brightness down. It's a little. Oh, there you go. Freaking ginormous. All right. Let's let's get back to it. I'm sorry. That thing is just it's spooky as AF. All right. Let's close that. Let's get back to here. So yeah, the guy was like, if you haven't had COVID yet, you probably don't have any friends. And first I was like, first of all, as we used to say, I resemble that remark. Right? That's a joke. Uh, but in this case, instead of I resented that remark, I did. I resembled that remark. I was like, hey, all pissed off. But at the same time, why would I be hanging around people during the pandemic? People are going on trips like it's all right. Okay, you can do that. I'm not doing that. So now there's this other thing where I might be the sacred vessel to hold the key to not getting sick. Maybe I'm a paranoid person who wore the mask and did all that stuff, washed his hands. Still, doesn't mean I've got any special the genetics. Just mean I'm beating the curve and watching where I go and who I interact with. I'm pretty sure if I stopped wearing a mask and went someplace, I'd be sick within like 10 days, 3 weeks, somewhere in there. Definitely within the month. See, this is why the Democrats are losing people. So here's this story in the New York Times. It's a sad and scary time. It's a quote unquote sad and scary time, end quote, for the LGBTQ students and their families. See, this all these people talking about how they can't move around America implies that America is nothing but a murder capital, and right, and it's not. One group have giant issues, the other groups are raising money, and sort of like we were talking. I get an example of why Joe Biden is signing all this checks and all this stuff. So, 200 years, right? This lynching bill, 200 years. Someone pointed out how long did it take to pass the Asian hate crime bill? It came out of nowhere and it was passed in like I want to say 4 or 5 months. It was some really fast bullshit, right? And then people are like, look at this. This is what we're talking about. And then people will go, there's no racism. Joe Biden himself said there is no racism. And now you're like, oh, racial unfairness. What are you talking about? You are not my not my savior. You're not my protector, right? You're not my guardian. If you're anything, you're more my keeper. And no one likes their keeper. There's a lot of people. That's the traitors, right? There's a lot of people in Hollywood and in Washington D.C. who are black who do zero for anybody else but themselves, and then they come back to these communities and ask for things. So, I mean, within the community itself, when you send people there, nothing happens. You lose faith in them, and then to the greater extent, you lose faith in the party, right? So then you don't go to the voting booth to the to do all this stuff because you'd rather do other stuff. And I think they're pushed now to be very blatantly racistly bent to is sort of a lame attempt to make up for not doing enough. And I think it's a lame attempt to make up for it in it's a lazy attempt to make up for it during a time when the community needed you most. You weren't there, right? These last 10 years, right? There was a lot of nonsense going on, police shootings, like more and more ridiculous, more and more ridiculous. Firings, people disrespect about the hair, right? All this stuff should have just been handled. And now you're gonna, because this is what you want. If you cured cancer, nobody could raise money for cancer, right? If you stopped all this racial shit, who could raise money going, oh, I'll fix this for you, right? So you don't really ever fix the problem. But now people are like, you can only carrot and stick people for so long, right? People get sick of your stick when they want violence against you, and you don't have enough carrots for everybody. And some people can't be bribed with carrots. So you're at, I think we are at an interesting crossroads. As the wider general public in the country is unhappy too, for numerous reasons, right? Um, and we're a cornerstone people in this country. You may not like to hear about it, but more so than other people who came through. Uh, More skin in the game, all that stuff that people don't like to hear. So yeah, we'll see what happens because November is going to be really interesting. We're just getting into and what did I say? This is my thing about the political season. People begin to pay attention uh, around August, right? They don't want to. think about it. I mean, they'll follow some, unless you're me, you follow super politics all the time. But they'll follow some of it lightly. Like I said, that thing on the back burner. Uh, but they've got spring plans and summer plans and college graduations and weddings and da, da, da. They're not really trying to fuck with you in the spring. Summer, ooh, vacation and out of school, my first job, trying to get this girl or that guy, trying to ba ba ba, right? And people get engaged on something like so now they're trying to plan for next year and da, da, da. So by the time people really do begin to start paying attention seriously, is at the end of the summer. So around August, you're going to see a lot of action. But people who follow watch all the percolating and activity now. This is why you're getting a lot of Donald Trump in the zone and people taking down his podcast because he's got to be percolating now on the back burner, right next to the Russian P tapes and all this other shit that was percolating the last time around in the political kitchen of America, right? So he's got to be percolating, and then somewhere around November they're gonna serve you up a meal, and you're gonna be like, I don't want that. What the fuck is that? I ain't eating that. And then while you're looking, people will be right. One way they'll be like, don't get that. You know, that's taxing the rich. You don't want to get that. Taxing the rich is bad for the economy. It's bad for me. You're like, why would that be? You got this Democratic weight on the other side telling you, oh, you know what? You need to vote for more elderly white lawyers because that's really what the black movement needs, right? You're like, what? Man, I don't want any of this. All this looks like shit. I don't want any of it. Meanwhile, you look down the table and all these young people who are new to voting or just eyes closed or whatever, they're just they're swallowing it all. They just buy into all of the bullshit, right? And it's bad for your gut. It's bad for your teeth. It's bad for your body. The American system is just a mess. That was a pretty good metaphor for what I think is going on here. All right, so gave myself a pat on the back midstream. That was a pretty good metaphor there. Tough guy. Oh, this ought to be good. People are morons. I mean, some of the responses to this has been the best. Now, all the politicians, we're still talking about Will Smith. All the stand up comedians are on Chris Rock's side. Because here's what you get. Once you don't like a joke, somebody can walk up there and smack everybody. This affects so many people who stand up in front of mics and live audiences. This affects so many people. Nobody wants. Look, I think between you, me, and the wallpaper, I think they're gonna drop the hammer on him. I really do. I think they're gonna drop the hammer on him. Besides, his best days are likely behind him. I hate to Tom Brady this shit, but yeah, I don't care about Will Smith's serious drama acting career. I don't care. I don't. I would used to go see the action movies, but at this point in my life, I'm over going to see the action movies. So what is Will Smith going to make that I'm interested in? Oh my God, I'm a get off the lawn kind of guy right now, right? So I don't know, but we'll see. All right, let's see what some famous people said about this. Cause let's close this. Da, 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 da. All right, Zoe Kravitz is facing backlash this morning for posting a scathing comment about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars, prompting fans to criticize the star over her friendship with Jaden Smith, Will's son. It is in an unlikely development in the Oscar slap saga. That's what they call it, the Oscar slap saga. Fans and social media users are now turning on the Batman actress who is currently facing severe backlash on Twitter over remarks she made about the Karate Kid star when he was age 14. Okay. Again, mind you, these people don't know. These people don't know the real world, right? She's another famous kid because her mother was famous, right? Lisa Bonet. Her father's Lenny Kravitz, right? So she grew up rich and famous, and now they were like, "Hey, you're a rich and famous kid. Come and be an actress without having to suffer for anything, wait for it, right?" And now she's up here telling you what she thinks about the. This is a problem. The situation began when Kravitz started as Catwoman in the recent Batman remake. Took on Instagram on Tuesday night to condemn Will Smith for storming the stage and slapping Chris Rock for the joke he made about his wife Jada Pinkett, which is fine. And here's a picture of my dress. Da, 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 da. Here's a picture of my dress. Ba, 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 da, 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 da. Yeah, what did she say? Oh, so they're. Oh, okay. So they think. Okay. So she essentially was like, violence, violence, violence. Look at my dress. All right, so let's read some of it. Just so, and people, I think people are pissed off by her, not because she was like, uh, you should have, you shouldn't have done it. They don't like the way how she did it, right? The search began when Kravitz started his Catwoman and Batman remake. Took on Instagram Tuesday night to condemn Will Smith for storming the stage. Okay, so she condemned him. Good joke, right? Uh, Storming the stage at the Academy Awards and slapping Chris Rock for a joke made about his wife. And here we go. First of all, here she is. She looks to weigh about 80 pounds. I don't understand why. No, we're not body shaming anybody. But let's be clear, ladies. The people who are telling you that you should look like this are the first people who will tell you that there's something wrong with your body and you should hit a gym or take pills or get liposuction or lipstick, da, 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 right? I think you're all beautiful, but at the same time, mm, mm, all right. Here's a picture of my dress at the award show where we are apparently assaulting people on stage now. Kravitz 33 captioned one post. In the second post, and here's a picture of my dress at the party after the award show where we are apparently screaming profanities and assaulting people on stage now. So they went after her for that. Twitter users now appear to be punching Kravitz for getting involved and not dragging her for. Hold, first of all, getting involved. Everyone has an opinion on this. Okay, I found myself halfway through this article expecting to have hatred for her, and finding out that I think she's right in this. Uh, and this is what happens when you go Twitter, right? You act like the mob is of one mind and are right or have some right to something or other. When the Twitter mob will react this way on one thing and the rest of the mob won't say anything, right? Because they're just fucking people had opinion. You can trigger this group for that and this group for that. And instead of going the blacks over here and the Spanish over here and the sexists over here and the this and the that and the other, whoever says something, they just get to be part of this mob. And it takes on this idea of like they're all are for it. So it's like if I said the men are violent, right? I look at the Middle East, I go the men are violent, and that puts all men, all the monks, all the Catholic priests, the people in Tibet, or the kids in high school in Brooklyn, right? Just all of them in a giant bowl of this, and that's what I mean by that. Versus going, ISIS is violent, right? The cartels or the mafia or this group, the Bloods or the Crips or the whatever. This group, the police, right? This group. Uh, which gives it a little more of a narrower view of who you're talking about and why you will be talking about them versus the Twitterati or the Twitter mob or the Twitter. This is what you can't like. I mean, it's still a mob mentality, right? Twitter users now appear to be punishing Kravitz for getting involved and are dragging her for once calling a then 14-year-old Jada Smith handsome and cool. They're dragging her for calling some 14-year-old boy handsome and cool. When I was a 14-year-old boy, first of all, I don't know how old Jaden Smith is. I think he's about 20 now, 21, right? So she's obviously 10 years older than him. How big do you think Hollywood is? She probably knew him growing up. Her mom and dad is famous, right? His mom and dad are famous. They probably, uh, when she was 10 or 11, met him when he was 2 or 3. When she was 20, she knew him when he was 10, right? So this is what I'm talking about. And then they were in a movie together in 2013. Who are the who's the so yeah, this is a story. Who wrote the story? Yeah, this woman needs drama and to throw some like coal on this. This that is not a story. All right. I thought she said something good and decent, juicy and indignant. People, but man, people have been going in on this thing, especially the comedians. The comedians got no chill for Will Smith. I think if I had to wager what's gonna happen, uh, I think there may be a lawsuit because, like I said, this is all over the place. It's going to be hard for Chris Rock to get his life done. He's going to be asked about this at every interview for the for every single interview for the next year, right? Maybe not the next year, but easily the next 3 months, and then intermittently for the rest of his life. Whenever they show up at the same event, right? So now maybe Will Smith can't go to an event where Chris Rock is going. Who are you going to side with? The victim of the assault? Joe got another booster shot today. Really? Oh my God. Ooh, well, I'm glad my dreams of doom and gloom have not come true, even though I did give myself a 3 or 4 day leeway, front and back, even though it's too late for the front. Um, Maybe the death I was thinking about was a career. Maybe it was Will Smith. Oh my goodness! But why would it affect me? Why? Well, I knew it was going to be big, and it is big, and it's all over television. It's very weird. I feel like now it's over. So maybe I'm thinking it was Will Smith. I thought it was going to be an important person, though. Is Will Smith an important person? He's a notable person. Maybe notable is what I was going for. How does that change anything? Maybe it changes by taking shit off the front page. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out where I could have been right or I could have been wrong. Just weird feelings, man. Weird feelings. Um, they were gonna kidnap the governor of man. That is crazy. Pileup in Pennsylvania caused by snow and squall led to 6 deaths and involved 80 vehicles. Ah, here you go. Can't even look at the. Is Will Smith's slap considered assault and battery? Yeah, it is. Will Smith will face little more than a slap on the wrist if charged. Gotta log in. You're not a news agency if you don't let anybody read the fucking news. News should be free. You're supposed to be disseminating news, people. Will Smith will face little more than a slap on the wrist if charged. Legal experts say Will Smith's slap seen around the world at the Oscars was clearly a crime. Yeah. You know how you know it was clearly a crime? Because he hit somebody. Uh, Los Angeles, why are we still talking about this? Smith left millions stunned. Witnesses, Jada Pinkett Smith sitting in the front row. The Los Angeles, the Los Angeles, oh, there you go. The Los Angeles Police Department said it was aware of the incident, but was not investigating because Rock declined to file a report. Useless LAPD. You're fucking useless. While the police could technically open an investigation, like I've been telling you, they wouldn't do so without Rock's participation, said defense lawyer Alan Jackson, a former Los Angeles County prosecutor, oversaw high profile cases. They could do, but they won't. They wouldn't do it without him. Why wouldn't they? You just said they technically could. We know they're not going to because Chris Rock isn't. But don't then say this and then add as an example of what was in the first fucking paragraph, you idiot. Yeah, they could technically open an investigation based on the Academy Award broadcast. Thank you, period. Then he says they wouldn't do so without. How do you know what they wouldn't do? And that wasn't the point. Said a defense lawyer, right? Would they ever in practical world do that when Chris Rock is saying, I don't want to cooperate criminal investigation? Not in a million years, Jackson said. LAPD is probably breathing a relative sigh of relief that they don't have to get involved with two high profile actors duking it out on the world stage. What is this duking it out shit? No one's duking anything out. So you better watch how people tell you the narrative of a story, right? Because you know what it is? I use this all the time. Fleetwood Mac have two songs, right? Uh, Dreams, right? And Go Your Own Way. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks were dating. They broke up. They were both in the band. They both wrote two songs about that breakup. Both number one hits. Both completely different. One written by a lady, one written by a guy, right? Two different stories. All right. Duking it out. The Los Angeles County City Attorney's Office, which prosecutes misdemeanor crimes, declined to comment. The fuck are you? What is the point of you people? You only comment at press conferences when you can control the narrative. This is a thing that happened in your town, in your subject, right? Your purview, your discipline. Why would you not have a comment on it? Why would you not have a comment on something that everybody has a comment on? Our judicial system is a fucking joke. Don't make any sense. They should have a comment. They should go right now. I got a comment for you. Here you go. As of now, we're not conducting a review of what happened at the Oscars. Uh, Mr. Rock hasn't stated he would like to charge his press. Having said that, uh, the municipality does not necessarily need Mr. Rock's um, participation. We can do this on behalf of Mr. Rock. Um, and we haven't made a decision if we will or won't yet. That's fine. That is a statement you can make, right? No comment. Fuck your no comment. You know what they say? If you sue them, we have no comment on pending litigation. Now there's no litigation. Why don't you have a comment? Don't tell me I'm crazy. I pay attention, you motherfuckers. All right. The Los Angeles County City Attorney. The Los Angeles County City's Attorney's Office, which prosecutes misdemeanor crime, declined to comment. But it said it could bring charges without a police referral. Yeah, we said that. You're the fucking. Do you know how this works? The way this is the role of the police. The police patrol the area, looking for crimes, investigating crime, stopping crimes. Right. When you get those crimes, they take those people up, they bundle them all up, they bring them over here to the DAs, which takes what was done and matches it to statutes in the penal code of whatever law municipality you're in, and says, you littered. That is a violation of the law. You pay a fine of $50, whatever the case. You committed bank this, right? And that carries, bah, 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 bah. That's what it does. If the cops miss something, right, or the TV shows prosecutors something, they can issue a warrant for your arrest, which the cops don't ever come near you. Well, if a warrant is issued for arrest, the cops can go get you, or usually the marshals will go pick you up, right? A federal marshal will pick you up for the feds, for the FBI or whatever. But local marshals will pick you up if you didn't go to court and there's a warrant out for your arrest for jumping bail or whatever. Yeah, cops have warrant squads, but marshals generally do warrants, right? So you could literally have a situation where the cops never come anywhere near your case because the cops, the DA saw somebody on YouTube kick a baby down the steps. Do, 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 do. And they're like, that's outrageous. We want his name and information. And everyone, the internet and YouTube go, that's Bob Jones, and he lives at Bob Jones Highway, right off of Jones Bob Route 7. And then they go there, like they can send the cops over there, but because you've got a ton more cops generally than you have uh, marshals, essentially, right? So the cops will get him. But you could send your marshal squad out there to grab this guy. It was an accident. I don't know what I'm doing. Then you cart him up here, then you bring him straight to court, and he sees the judge. And your police department, your commissioners, will if something goes wrong with that guy, he dies in prison, and they ask the police commissioner, what happened? Here go, that was another agency. We don't know what happened. They'll likely be investigated by whoever, right? We can wash our hands of it. None of our didn't happen in any of our facilities. He was picked up and taken straight to court. Um, yeah, the celebrity thing is coming into play, unfortunately, said a former LA District Attorney, Steve Cooley. If some Joe Blow committed this act in front of a police officer, he would be able to walk away from. Would he be able to walk away from it? Question mark. Probably not. What do you mean? Probably not. Um, some places have pugilist laws, so you could fight it out, which I think makes more sense than right. Because if I go, I'll kick your ass. You want to fight? And you go, no, man. Right? And then I hit you, then that guy's going to jail. But if I go, you'll kick my ass, and then we both duke it out, the cops show up. Stop acting like everybody's a fucking 3-year-old and you're everybody's parents, right? If two men with no weapons decide to scuff it out, that should be allowed. It shouldn't go on forever, and they shouldn't destroy property, and no one should be able to come back on it, right? But sometimes one fight gets it out. Stop acting like fighting is not a thing. Just another way for people to browbeat you. And again, if the guy is 6'4", like Chris Rock is, well, not Chris Rock, 6'2", like Will Smith is, and the other guy is 5'8", like Chris Rock is, and the other guy's like, no, I don't want to fight, right? And you hit them, that's different. But man, the what did they call it? The pussification of the American male. Protect your woman, yeah, but from jokes, come on, man, seriously, what are you doing? Um, while the statutes, yeah. So this is just saying they could have filed charges. I want to know how much time. Evidence, but prosecutors feel compelled to prosecute Will Smith regardless of Chris Rock's preference to avoid creating the impression that a wealthy actor is above the law. If Smith were charged, he would face misdemeanor battery, which carries a penalty up to 6 months in jail. Even if prosecuted and convicted, it's unlikely he would face incarceration. There are alternatives to going to court that could lead to a penalty as light as having to attend anger management classes. Yeah, that implies that the government stood up and noticed this and dealt with it. Anger management is fine. Nobody's saying send Will Smith to jail for 6 months, but the idea that everybody's like, yeah, we all saw it, but nobody does anything because Mulligan is bullshit. And that's my point, right? It's like when I rage about Trump. It's not that I'm defending Trump. It's like I see all the dirty shit that they're doing to Trump just shows how dirty they are, right? Freedom of speech matters until they don't want you to have it. Cooley said if he were advising Smith, he'd have him voluntarily enroll in the anger management class and then try to convince prosecutors not to bring charges in the interest of justice because he had recognized his problem and was dealing with it. Chris Rock should sue. He should bring him into court and let's look at Will Smith's life. Right? He's slapped people before on the stage at an event. That way we can sit here and go, ooh. I mean, people talk about he likes to have men come over and he likes to watch them bang his wife. I'm like, you can't prove that. That's scurrilous. Scurrilous statements to be made about Will Smith. Ugh. But at the end of the day, who cares? I said this before on this podcast. If you come out, I'm gay, I'm like, fuck you, you piece of shit. This isn't the 50s. You were able to do this for 30 years. Now you've just been lying to people. And now you want sympathy for it. You weren't truth. You weren't honest. You were lying to everybody. Unless your homies knew, then you weren't lying to them. But you were lying to all the people who claim to be friends and claim to be honest with. It's better if you said, man, I was hanging out with the rappers, never talking shit. And I was like, man, fuck that. Suck my dick. And then one of them guys was like, I'll suck your dick. And I was like, yeah, I bet you would suck it. And then I was like, I enjoyed it. No, enjoy it. I've been messing with guys ever since. We'd be like, oh, wow, that's evolved. I wouldn't have done it that way, but okay. He's not lying. He went into this thing. But to know that someone's always been this way in the modern era of 2022, when they come out the closet going, I'm gay and oh, and people go, those people are fucking idiots. The brave people have all been out of the closet and they took the slings and arrows and got beat up and bullshit and became wrote books and to move that culture forward. Those are the heroes, right? All these you got busted being gay. Now all of a sudden you're gonna come out and fuck you. You was slinking around, you creepy fuck, and then you got found out about it. Now all of a sudden it's just fucking be honest. Why are you lying to everybody? I really have a problem with that. I really have a problem with it. Everybody doesn't mind if people lie to them. I have a giant problem with it. All right. Cooley said he wanted more information on the case as a prosecutor before making any decision. He said LAPD was premature in announcing they weren't getting involved. That's a better statement, right? We're looking at it. It would have been better than saying we're not doing anything. Stephen Downing, a retired LAPD chief, deputy chief, said a case could be bought, but he said it was reasonable. It was reasonable not to waste resources when Rock apparently wasn't injured or ruffled enough to file a complaint. No, you got look. Listen, Chris Rock is not the average guy. It's not for him to not get rough to file a complaint. Once he files a complaint, there's all this drama and energy. You should do this for Chris Rock, right? It's like if you saw a woman, um, how can I say this and make it not super crimey? Um, Robbing. If you're a DA and you saw, okay, another one. If you're the DA, right, and there's a video going around, right, you cut on TV, oh, this happened, and you saw, I don't even have a good, all right, forget about it. I don't know, I just think that if you saw something on TV, uh, and the person was embarrassed by what happened, you could intervene on their behalf just in case they didn't want to be known as the squealer or the snitch or the whatever, right? That's what this is. They should get involved. Rock carried on as if nothing happened to him. He was a billion people were staring at him. Danny said he didn't even put a hand to his neck. He didn't appear to be angry. Well, you supposed to sit and do this and rub your cheek and be like, "Aw," that'd have been a meme. He handled it exactly like he should have. He showed no stress about it. He acknowledged it, and then he walked off. Rock carried on as if nothing happened, Downey said. He didn't even put his hands cheek. He didn't appear to be injured. He had, if he had knocked him to the floor and rendered him unconscious, I think action would have been taken. Oh, really? If he had knocked him to the floor and rendered him unconscious, I think action would have been taken, end quote. I got to get into fucking law school because apparently they're just giving out law degrees to everybody. Um, and this person, LATB, was right not to. Says you. That apology is weak sauce. So yeah, let's see if there's any news on it. 2 days ago, 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 3 hours ago. This is from Canada, Toronto Sun. Yeah, man, look, they're gonna be showing this video of you on, and right now you don't have a problem with it, but watch, it's gonna be like Chinese water torture, and eventually you're gonna be like this fucking video. I can't, and once you argue about the video, you can't get it down. People are memeing it. right? Maybe it won't ever bother him. But if, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a game played for foolish people, right? Will Smith's smack was stunning, comma, but strong arm and quote unquote strong arm attacks are on the rise. Yeah, they could. We in New York we call it strong arm robbery. When you don't have a knife or a gun, but you're stronger than the person, right? I don't have to have a gun or a knife. I could just walk up to you if I'm like more imposing. I could be bigger or smaller, built or what. You could just be afraid of me, right? You could be hench, super big, 6'4", and just kind of like, eh. And I'm like, and I just walk up to him, grab you by the collar, and go, "Give me your fucking wallet," and you hand over your wallet. That's a strong arm robbery. He gave it to me. No, he didn't want to give it to you. You know, versus having a knife or a gun or this or that. Television viewers around the world Sunday night. I'm sorry. Television viewers around the world were stunned Sunday night when Will Smith stormed the stage. Stormed. He more like sauntered up to the stage. Stormed the stage at the Oscars and slapped Chris Rock. Excuse me. And slapped Chris Rock after award presenter and comedian made a joke about the actor's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. But general type of attack permeated by Smith is all too common in Los Angeles. According to public availability Los Angeles Police Department data, there are generally about 1,000 to 1,500 cases each month of simple assault or battery in which the weapon is listed as strong arm, hand, fist, body, kick somebody, right? Yeah, conflict is a thing among people. Wow, we sort of just covered one story and a little bit of January 6th. Anybody got any before we leave here? Oh, really? I wonder what they're gonna do. Here's one. Film Film Academy starts process to discipline Will Smith over Oscar slap. What a great name, Lisa Richwine. Her name is Richwine. That is a great fucking name. Richwine. All right. All right. Sorry. I collect interesting names. It's true, and it doesn't make any sense. What are you gonna do with an interesting name? Quirky as fuck. I know. I need to see somebody, but why? They would just change me. Then I would be like everybody else, and that would fucking suck. That is the hell I don't want to visit. All right, here we go. Los Angeles, Reuters. Hollywood's Film Academy has started a process that could lead to discipline against actors. Okay, yeah. What is it though? Critics Group, the Sunday, the Academy Award, Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Also said Smith had also said against the actor, right? Also, they said they started discipline, and they also said Smith had been asked to leave after the incident but refused. Things unfolded in a way we could not have anticipated. That is true. The Academy said in a statement, we also quote unquote we also recognize I always say quote unquote quote we also recognize we could have handled situations differently end quote. Yeah. you know, uh, this is one of those things, right? This is one of those things where I'm gonna make it about race. White folk in America and black folks see things differently, right? So whenever you have a poll, you'll go, that's why they break it down on the race and gender and college educating and right. So the black Democrats will see things differently than the white Democrats, right? Um, White population in general will see things differently than the black population in general. So like the minorities have different views of things slightly too, but none more stark than like blacks and like whites how we view things because we quite frankly are raised very differently in this country. We really are. There's some overlap, like we all like the same flag. There's some overlap, but generally, we are our own delicate flower. All right, so let's go. You could have handled things differently. Yeah, you could have caught it. I, look, commercial comes up. You tell them, look, Mr. Smith, you have to leave. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. Okay, let me tell you what's going to go down here. We're going to sit here. You're going to sit here. We're going to leave. Show's going to come on. It's going to run through it. The next commercial break, we're going to have the LAPD escort you out of here. Whether this commercial break or the next one. That's it. That's it. And then I would have let all the people see 9 security officers on, and mind you, this tape is their property. So all the clips of this tape, I mean, there are broadcast rights. The news is run right, so like I can't show it because I'm on YouTube. But like if I had a CBS can show ABC's footage, da, 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 right? So they disseminated this information. This isn't a lot of people's home cameras, right? This is like they disseminate this information. So when the cops come and get you, that's also going to be on tape. Now maybe we won't disseminate that. Or maybe we will, depending on how this shit goes down. They could have done a number of things. I've had to fucking troubleshoot on the fly. Right? And I didn't freaking arrest everybody I've met. They're like, man, this is what's gonna go down. It is the weekend. You do not want to get not the weekend. It's like, the weekend's coming. You do not want to get arrested on Friday because you will not be out till Wednesday. Right? Everybody likes to get arrested on Thursday in New York for some reason. Right? Why are you getting into it with this dude? Go with your lady. Have some beers and some beer and do whatever. Yeah, man, you right. Right? I squashed a lot of them. Didn't go who's been arrested before. Who, you know. First, we need everybody's name because we don't tell you this, but I run everybody for warrants. Nobody's got a warrant. What are we fucking doing? I can call 1,000 cops here, give everybody concussions for the weekend, and they know I'm not fucking around. I like being a cop. I really did. I was really good at it. I was talkative and amiable and arrogant in the right amounts in the right doses. And I could talk people out of just about anything. And I work with people who would just show up and it would be a jaywalking charge. And all of a sudden you need 40 cops because the whole community is in an uproar over how they handled it. Oh my God. Yeah, they could have just escorted him out. Okay. And then he'll look around, the next commercial break comes and nobody's there. Then by the time you amass, or you just see them walking down, and we'll be right back after this commercial. And Mister, we're asking you, you not leaving with us is resisting arrest. That's what we're charging. That's what we're handcuffing you for. You can walk out of here, get in your limousine, and go to your mansion, or you can say, I'm not fucking leaving again, and be arrested for disorderly and resisting arrest by the police, by the LAPD, in front of all your fucking peers. And I don't care that your lawyer's going, don't say anything, we'll have you out in the morning. Yeah. You're fucking completely embarrassed by this. There was ways to handle this. They chose not to. That place is fucking squishy. All right. This is a sad day in my life where I don't have a joint. All right. We also recognize we could have handled the situation differently. The group says the action may have. Mm, the group said actions may be taken at its next board meeting on April 18th. Their next board meeting. So if this happened at the a day after their last board meeting, how often do they have board meetings? Once a month, I'm assuming. I guess that's not bad. Once a month. Do they have board meetings quarterly? Well, how often do they have board meetings? I'm just kidding. I guess it's not germane to the it's not germane to the article, but I'm just curious. April 18th. That may include suspension, expulsion, or sanctions, the statement said. This is an interesting precedent. Because if you do this, like, we're just going to cut his fucking head off and get out of our union, right? You temper this behavior down the line. Everybody knows I got into a fight on set. I could likely be thrown out of the union. Maybe, oh, good Lord. Yeah, Whoopi had something to say about this. Whoopi Goldberg is on the board of. I don't. Yeah, she did. I think she didn't. She win two. She won Best Supporting, and she won a Best Actress, right? I know she's got a Emmy for stand up and a. No, she's got what's the one they give you on Broadway? She's got one on Broadway for her stand up show that made her famous. She's got one on TV because she's been on TV forever, and she's got an Oscar. Whoopi, not Goldman, Goldberg. All right, let's see awards. Grammy Best Comedy Album. Good Lord, look at all the fucking awards. This is what happens. There's only a handful of these, so they can only just keep giving the same group of actors. Grammy Award Best Comedy Album 1986. Golden Globe 1986. Academy Award Best Actress in a Supporting Role 91. Best Golden Globe, BAFTA, Mark Twain, NAACP Image Award, Kids' Choice Award, John Modest Award, Daytime Emmy Award, da 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 da. Yeah, okay, so she's got an Academy Award for Best Supporting. I don't know why I thought it was yeah, all these people are ridiculous. Is she on the board? Whoopi Goldberg. Um, what is it? Compass? Oh, good lord. It's Compass, right? Compass is Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, it's not Compass. It's Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. It's in motion picture. Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Yeah, she's a member of the board. Academy Board member Whoopi Goldberg says they won't take away Will Smith Oscar. So if they're not going to do that, are they going to ban him? If they're not going to take his Oscar, they're not going to ban him, right? So what are they going to do to him? The question then becomes: Chris Rock has been a loyal worker for your Oscar program, even though he's not an Oscar-rated actor, right? He hosts your show. He does a good job. When a lot of people don't even want to host your stupid show, right? Didn't you famously get rid of who's the short guy? It was his dream to host the Oscars. The gays got up into him and they were like apologizing for him. He was like, yeah, find him out. Now you can't get any of the funny black comedians to do it. And he was doing a fill-in, right? Kevin Hart, thank you. He was doing a fill-in, right? Chris Rock was doing a fill-in for a segment because he didn't want to host. So who was the host? Three women. Who were they? Three comedians. Who were they? Anyway, right? They keep trying to do stuff to keep the show popular, but it is what it is. So they're not going to take his Oscar away. They're not going to ban him. I don't know what you could possibly do that makes any sense. That look, if I was Chris Rock, I would fucking sue because everybody's gonna be looking at you get slapped for the next 1,000 years. Once it's online forever. Remember? Um, yeah, he should regret this. He shouldn't give a bullshit apology, but it is what it is, man. It's not that you need the money that people say he doesn't need. That's not the point, right? Does no one have a fucking moral scruples in the world anymore? Everything is about money. Everything is not about money. Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina. Why is Regina King hosting the Oscars? She's not a. She look. Wanda Sykes has done comedy movies. Amy Schumer has done in the last 10 years a few comedy movies. What comedy movies did Regina King do? And normally they're trying to bring all these edgy comedians into the Oscars. When the Oscars don't have, they want some of that edginess to rub off on their Oscars. I mean, I don't know. Regina King, I don't know what movie she's been in. I thought she was a television star, right? All right. Well, I mean, I know it's good for their careers, but at the same time, Wanda Sykes, Amy Schumer, and Regina King. Okay, okay. uh, if you said, "Oh man, you're watching the Oscars," Wanda Schumer, Amy Sykes, and Regina King are going to be hosting, I'd have been like, quite frankly, if you really want the truth, Wanda Sykes could have hosted that shit herself. Wanda Sykes has a ton of stand-up specials on Netflix, and she's fucking funny, right? And she's been doing stand-up for 30 years. She can handle a crowd. She's funny. Um, commit to who you're choosing. What is this? Hedge your bets and get three people, and then bring in other. Yeah. So we'll see, man. Police said Rock had declined to file a police report. They're not gonna take his Oscar away. According to has made statement to the effect though there will be consequences, I'm sure, but I don't think that's what they'll do. It's particularly because Chris said, "Listen, I'm not pressing any charges. We're not going to take that Oscar from him, Goldberg, and Oscar winner and former host of the event said Monday at ABC News. There will be consequences, I'm sure, but I don't think that's what they'll do. Particularly because Chris said, "Listen, I'm not pressing any charges." So Chris Rock said, "I'm not pressing any charges." So you're gonna let him keep his odds. So what? Why you? Why is everybody trying to put put this on Chris? You're mitigating the thing by saying Chris Rock, Chris Rock, Chris Rock. Like he's stopping you from. These people are so full of shit. Chris Rock is not stopping you from doing anything. You have no moral compass. You have zero integrity. Listen, I'm not pressing any charges. The Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences has not made any statement to the effect that it's condemned Smith's action and say it will launch a formal review of the incident. In response to a, in response to a, in response to a request for comment on Goldberg's remark, the Academy repeated its earlier statement that it will explore further action and consequences in accordance with our bylaws and standards and conduct of California law. Police said Rock had declined to file a police report. They keep saying that. Early in the View segment, Goldberg said she could emphasize with Smith saying he overreacted apparently and appeared to snap under pressure. She know that there was a lot of stuff probably built up from jokes made about the couple's marriage in the past. Yeah. So what? So what? You still don't get to hit anybody. You get to snap and build up and all this stuff. When does it stop? Right? I asked 30 women out today and they all said no. I asked 30 women out the day before that and they all said no. And the last girl I asked out, she said no and I smacked her. I'm sorry. I just emotionally, I just got built up from all the rejection. It was in my own head. I would like to extend an apology to a young lady that I slapped at the Quickie Mart, Chuckle Hut, uh, Quiznos, McDonald's drive-through, or whatever the fuck it was. No one's buying that excuse. No one's buying it. No one's buying. Well, I'm not buying it. Maybe people are buying it, right? Oh, I'm so stressed out. I didn't mean to hit you. These guys never get stressed out and hit big dudes. All right, that is it for us. We are putting this one to bed. It is 8:10, and next time I see you will be Sunday. I want you to take care of yourself. Wish me luck. It's gonna be interesting. Uh, Thank you for coming through, Corey, Carrie, Triple D. Thanks for coming through, William. As always, thank you, man. Uh, and thank you for that thing you sent me. Excuse me. Um, I will see you in the next one, and the next one is not tomorrow. The next one is Sunday. Uh, would I feel better if I were the groom? Marriage is dead. Don't get me wrong. I'm for love and honor and connection to people, but I really do think that they've done such a job on marriage that it's hard to trust it. It really is. So I have to watch 100 people get married every day and watch no divorces for like 15, 20 years before I sit there and contend with it. Super envious of people who get married. I see it work. It's beautiful. My parents been married for 65 plus years now, right? But I just see so many ridiculous sham things going on. Everybody's always getting divorced. Hurts my feelings. Uh, so yeah, I would be a cynical and paranoid groom, and you can't have that. You have to keep your eye open and look to forward to the brightness of tomorrow as Chris Rock says, go out there and get the big piece of chicken, right? The big piece of chicken joke is Chris Rock's most famous joke in the black community. And the idea behind the joke is fathers go out and they do the hard work. There are people always going up to Academy Awards shows saying their moms and mom, we did it. And I love mom tattoos. Like, what about dads, right? Like, and all you get is the big piece of chicken. Mom, you come home and your mom gave you a little more of this and a little more rice, and you get the big piece of chicken. Uh, it's a good joke. Uh, yeah. All right. So I will be back Sunday, 10 a.m. with stories of daring do and whoa. Uh, who knows? William's sitting up here trying to get me married. Maybe it'll be a love story. Maybe I will have met the love of my life, which something is telling me is likely going to be a puppy, which I really need to really think about getting. When I got that dog the last time, I had to dog proof in this place is going to be a yeah. All right, boys and girls. Hey, sweet pea. Good to see you. Hello. Saying hi in the chat. Sweet pea in the chat. Just uh, you came through to say hello. That's awesome. So we are ending the stream today, and like I said, we'll be back Sunday because we have a happy family event. It's going to be awesome, and my whole family's gonna gather around. We're gonna gather together, and we're gonna be a family for the first time in like 2 years, right? This pandemic. So I'm looking forward to it, even as I'm stressed about it. Even as I'm stressed about it. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you in the next one. Next one's Wednesday. Come get some. There's plenty to get. Uh, and we give helpings of seconds and thirds, even. Thank you, Sweet Pea. You have a good one, too. William, take care of yourself. Carrie Triple D, be easy. I will see you all in the next one. Next one Sunday. Peace out.